On the last day of Computex, which is typically the Friday, I like to go around and kind of see things that I may or may not have seen during the show, because the truth is, when we're out there filming all of the booth stuff, I go from booth to booth to booth to suite to suite to suite, and I never really get to see anything in between. It's a mad dash, and that Friday is really the time for me to absorb all of the oddness of Computex. This year, armed with an Osmo Pocket 3, I got a chance to capture some of those things without having to use the entire camera rig, and I thought that this would be a great little post-mortem to show you all of the interesting things I found and some of the stranger things that I found, starting off with this. First up was this booth called Darts Nut. Now, I gotta be honest with you guys, I walked past this booth and the name made me giggle, but what I found there was maybe interesting to you. I thought it was cool anyway. I know there's an oversaturation of AI, but this product called the Chestnut is a chessboard that runs an AI model that learns how you play and records all of your moves. It can then help you to predict the next best move based on all of your previous play history, and it can help you improve your critical thinking when playing chess. Now, I know chess isn't everyone's cup of tea, and to be honest, it's not really my thing either, but I just thought this was really cool and probably one of the most practical yet impractical uses for AI that I've seen in a while. It's just really cool. They also had some other physical games that I'm bad at that you can see here. Next up was a cooler from this company called Cypus or Cypus. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, I think Cypus is how you say it. It's called the Sigma Ultra. There isn't anything super special about this cooler other than the pump top itself having this mechanism in it that makes it look like it's physically breathing. I think they've done this to show it as a bit of a showcase, but it's also probably to help with VRM cooling. It's strange, but it's kind of cool. Let us know if you want us to get one from these guys. It wouldn't be Computex on the last day if we didn't bump into our mates over at Geometric Future. They've always got some really wacky stuff going on over there. They're known for having some very interesting things with cases, but one that caught my eye was the Model Zero. It's a mini ITX small form factor case that is essentially a magnetic pizza box with an included 200 or 350 watt flex size PSU. There's no word on pricing yet, but I thought this one was worth showing because we're going to start seeing a lot of Thunderbolt 5 external GPU enclosures popping up, and that paired with a 9800 X3D in this and a low profile cooler in eco mode could be pretty epic. Let us know your thoughts on this. Would you use an eGPU with a case like this? I think it's an interesting one anyway. We always get so many requests from you guys to check out whatever Jonsbo's doing at Computex, and this year we went and had a bit of a look. We popped our head in to see what they had, and they had some stuff that may surprise you and maybe not what you're expecting. First up is the T9. This is a sandwich layout small form factor case with some wood trim around the edge, but it's a tiny bit taller than the Fractal Terra with much better build quality. It's got an adjustable spine and it's aiming to bridge the gap kind of between small form factor and affordability. Well, that's according to Jonsbo at least. There's no word on pricing yet, but I'd say that this one would probably come in less than the Fractal Terra or any other similarly sized small form factor cases. They also had a couple fans and coolers that caught my eye too. This one's called the TF3 360B. This cooler itself isn't really the interesting part at all. The fans are. They've got these little detachable screens on the side of them, and you can use these screens either on the fans or as a display panel anywhere else in your PC or outside of your PC. I think this one's pretty cool, and I think the external use is a cool use case. The fan frame that these come on itself caught my eye because it's got this really sleek design, and it's cool to see fan frames that blend clean design and RGB, but it's not done in an over-the-top way. What really got me excited though was Jonsbo's air coolers. This one's called the CR1400DV2. It's a dual tower air cooler with 92mm fans. It's absolutely tiny, and according to Jonsbo, it can cool CPUs with TDPs up to 230 watts in total. I'm not kidding, this thing is absolutely tiny. It kind of reminds me of some of the single tower air coolers that Cooler Master was doing in the mid 2010s, with the Jonsbo cooler having much shorter heat pipes and lowering the overall height to just 133 millimeters. I'm super keen to get one of these in to just poke around with and test, but there is a single tower version called the CR1400 V2, which is essentially the same design, but it's a single tower cooler with a total cooling capacity of, they're saying, around about 180 watts TDP. Both of these coolers come in both ARGB and non-ARGB versions. I've got no idea on pricing and availability, but I'm going to say that these ones are going for pretty cheap. They still won't tell me who John is though. I've asked them so many times. Anyway, our homie Rob from RobTech took us over to Minis Forum to take a bit of a look at what they had on offer, and they had something very, very cool. We've got a little bit of a sneak peek at something that you might not be expecting. First of all is this little beauty. It's called the G1 Pro. It's a consoleized mini PC that looks as though it's a bit smaller than a PS5 Slim, with some interesting specs. It's using either the Ryzen 9 8940HX or the much more potent 9895HX with either an RTX 4060 or RTX 5060. It's got dual PCIe Gen 5 M.2 slots. It's got an inbuilt 350 watt PSU with a total volume of just under 4 liters. It will take a low profile GPU in its PCIe by 16 slot, but I've got no idea on the specs of that right now. This is looking like it's going to be a pretty decent TV gaming PC, and one that I'm really looking forward to getting in for some testing, because yeah, I did request this one from Minis Forum. Minis Forum also had a little PC called the X1 Pro. This one features the AMD Ryzen AI HX 370 and the Radeon 980M. It's got two M.2 slots, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, and Oculink. The X1 Pro is looking like a very awesome platform for gaming and content creation, especially because of that Oculink. Now, I'd say the form factor is about the size of one of Apple's M2 Pro Mac Minis. It's one of those computers that I daily drive, so I'm pretty familiar with the size. Minis Forum was also showing off their MSA2, which is essentially the AMD version of the MSO1 that we checked out last year. It's got almost all of the same features like dual SFP plus 10 gigabit ports, but with a much more potent Ryzen mobile CPU and a mobile GPU. I've got one of these on the way at the time of recording, so keep your eyes peeled, because this one could potentially be the best bang for buck system for your home lab. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed to see that. Last but definitely not least from Minis Forum is, to me, one of the coolest mini PCs they had on the booth. This is called the MSR1. This is Minis Forum's first ever ARM mini PC. It uses the same enclosure as the MSA1. It features the CIX P1CP 8180 12-core ARM v9 CPU and has dual 10 gigabit Ethernet. It's got 64 gigs of LPDDR5 memory soldered to the motherboard, but we were lucky enough for Minis Forum to allow us to pull the cooler off and take a little peek at that ARM CPU and the memory configuration on the motherboard. The most interesting thing is, it's not as exotic as you might think it would look. The MSR1 has a few limitations. I've just got to put that out there. It's got a single M.2 slot, but I think it can be overlooked since this is their first ARM mini PC. Something like this from Minis Forum will open up the door to a lot of interesting other ARM-based mini PCs in the future. As for operating system compatibility, you can run almost all of the available ARM Linux distros, but Windows, you can run it, right? Don't get me wrong, you can run it, but you're going to be limited by drivers. If only Nvidia made ARM for Windows drivers, but that's never going to happen. Who am I kidding? Nvidia's never going to do anything we want them to do. Speaking of Minis Forum, while we're still on the topic, they did have something else that they didn't show at the show. It's called the MSS1 Max. It's a 2U rack mount server version of one of their mini PCs. It's kind of something I dreamt of coming into fruition, and apparently it's coming very, very soon. Now, all the stuff that you're seeing through all of the Minis Forum stuff that I just checked out, I've requested all of it because I really want to get my hands on this new ARM mini PC, but especially the MSS1 Max that I didn't talk about because they didn't have one to show me. I would love to have seen the physical design, but I guess we're going to see more on that later in the year. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a little bit of a look at some more interesting things that I typically wouldn't get time to film. I know it's not as much as you'd think, but there's so much time between going to the booths, between different exhibition halls, that also takes up a lot of time. And I wish that I had more time to go and see more quirky stuff. As well as that, there's things that I forgot to film because I was just looking at them around the place. But the things that I did show you, I thought was worth sharing. Anyways, let us know what your favorite stuff at Computex was this year. If we're going to talk straight cases, I got to say, the Silverstone RM43 RS, like the storage server case, that RM32 from Silverstone, the FLP02 was really awesome. I really, truly loved that Tri-X Flover with the actual fan intake on the side. It's so freaking cool. There's so much to kind of digest from cases this year. We did see a lot of new stuff happening with cases, but overall, the show was light on new CPU stuff and GPU stuff, given that we're kind of mid-generation now, and that stuff was mainly kind of trickling out through CES. But I hear rumors that CES 2026 is going to be spicy. Whether or not we're going to be attending in person, we're not sure yet. But yeah, let us know what your favorite thing you saw at Computex was this year. There were lots of really cool things. Also, again, special thanks to MSI for sponsoring our coverage of the show. MSI did a couple really cool things on the side, which is kind of why we decided to go with MSI as our major sponsor this year. They got us an ultra-wide OLED for our hotel room. They got us peripherals so I could plug my MacBook Pro in and edit on essentially what was a desktop computer. Every other year I've been there on a laptop with a little screen and, you know, with a mouse and whatnot, but it really felt like I had a nice workspace this year. That's why we smashed out so many videos, because we could physically work faster. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to anyone that I met or hung out with at Computex that I haven't met before, and to all of the familiar faces and all the friends and everybody that made, I'm going to say it, this is probably the best Computex experience that I've ever had. It's the first year that we felt like, what's the word? I felt like I'm included, or like a part of the community that we're in. You got to remember, guys, we live on the other side of the world. We live away from being around all the other creators all the time. It's very isolating to be in Australia, especially with tech. We have some awesome local creators like Jared's Tech and Rob Tech that I talk to frequently, but yeah, it's great to catch up with the people that I don't get to chat to so often. So yeah, shout out to like Adam from PC World and Willis and the whole PC World crew. You guys are the absolute best. And yeah, I don't know why I'm going into this, but it's been an awesome Computex journey this year. Even though I'm posting this a whole week after, I only made this because I made a tweet about you guys not caring about any of the follow-up stuff, but you know, like 2 people responded. So here's the video. Anyways, like, subscribe, all that other YouTube jazz. I'm your boy, Nick. That's my name. I have a name. It's called Nick. Well, it's called Nick. I'm Nick. And we'll catch you next time. And finally, we're going to get back to our regular scheduled programming. We've got this coming up very soon, which I'm very excited about. I'm working on this at the moment. Yeah. I accidentally hit stop on the keyboard with the recording of the microphone because I'm an idiot.